and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures that Outperform. I hope you're really just absolutely excited about this new series we're doing. We've got a whole series on AI, human-machine teaming. We had a very good episode last week on Operator. We talked about human-machine teaming actually on our series on innovation, but we're going into AI heavily now. AI and human-machine teaming is just such a big story. This is going to change everything in a very, very big way. And we're going to get right into now this NVIDIA desktop AI supercomputer. And Terry is my co-host, certified culture engineer. I'm Frank Warner, the founder and CEO of People Productive. And we've got really Jensen Huang here announcing this desktop supercomputer. This does, in fact, change everything. So, Terry, why don't you play that?
It does change the game.
This is NVIDIA's latest AI supercomputer. And it's fondly called Project Digits right now. And if you have a good name for it, reach out to us. Here's the amazing thing. This is an AI supercomputer. It runs the entire NVIDIA AI stack. All of NVIDIA software runs on this. DGX Cloud runs on this. This sits, well, somewhere, and it's wireless or, connected to your computer. It's even a workstation if you like it to be. And you could access it, you could reach it like a cloud supercomputer, and NVIDIA's AI works on it. And it's based on a super secret chip that we've been working on called GB110, the smallest Grace Blackwell that we make. This is...
All right, so this is absolutely incredible. This machine is so powerful. Everybody started out on a mainframe, and then we went to kind of desktop computers. They were nothing. The original IBM desktop came with a floppy disk. Yeah. And if you really had a lot of money, you could get a 10 megabit hard drive. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, that was
big.
Yeah, that was all that back then, right? I mean, that was enormous. Yeah. And then everything started going to the cloud. Cloud became obviously the way to go with everything. This is now moving the cloud to your desktop. This computer is so powerful that everybody who is going to be doing development, everybody who generates content of any kind, is going to be using this computer probably on their desktop. Now, it's interesting. They used AI in the development of this. They had teams of people working on this, coming up with this model, advancing all of their different processors and everything. And it sped up the development so fast. There's another video by Jensen Huang out there from 2023, where he's talking about how they sped up the graphics card 1,000 times in 5 years, I think it was. 1,000 times faster in 5 years. Moore's law is it doubles every 2 years. And they achieved that breakthrough by using their own AI technology to make advancements in the way they do stuff. And so this is the power of AI. I mean, This solution is just amazing. It runs actually at a petaflop. Just imagine a petaflop. It's hard to conceive. That is 1,000 trillion floating point instructions per second. 1,000 trillion. Most people can't conceive of really, like, what is a billion really? 1,000 million. People conceive of, you got 10, you got 100, you got 1,000. Your mind can easily wrap its head around that. 10,000, 100,000, a million. You get a sense. A billion, trillion, 1,000 trillion in a second. I mean, this is just so massive. It's mind-blowing.
Yes.
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
Absolutely. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And it brings the power of AI into the mainstream. It makes it so that everybody has access to something so powerful. And if you look at some of their entry-level versions of this thing, I mean, you spend $300, $250, $300, and you can have that sitting on your desktop.
Jetson. That's Jetson. Yeah. Much smaller, but still incredible. It's for, they call it for hobbyists.
Yeah, it's amazing how it brings the power of AI and data science to a whole nother level. A lot of what you can do from a graphics perspective is very much limited by your hard drive. and how fast you can bring up and change. So if you have a computer that's able to do that and process all of these instructions in such a short period of time, imagine the implications for that. Imagine the different uses for that. Whereas, you're on the best video cards, you want it to be less than a second or so. And now you're talking about fractions.
This is 1,000 times faster than the best desktop PCs right now. 1,000 times faster. That's what a breakthrough this is.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting, and it has so many areas where this can be helpful. We'll dig into some of those areas in our next episode, but this is groundbreaking. The fact that you can have something so small that he's holding in his hand, about the size of a Mac Mini, like, this is just mind blowing that that much power can fit in something so small.
Well, it can hold a 200 billion parameter model. And, to put that in perspective, I think ChatGPT's first model that they came out with back in 2022 was something around that size. You can link two of them together. You can get a 405 billion parameter model on your desktop, which means you can run just about anything. It's got 4 terabytes of storage on a hard drive, a solid state drive, I should say. 128 gig of coherent memory, 16 gig of RAM. An average desktop might have, it's 128 gig of RAM versus this desktop, which would normally have like 16, 32. So you're talking just magnitudes of difference here. And $3,000 for the machine, which I think is very approachable. So look, anybody working with data and generative technology, they're going to have this. This is revolutionary. Absolutely revolutionary. It's so powerful that, let's say you're working on generating, you want to create a film. And, you come up with a prompt, and normally the machine would go off and work and generate the film and do whatever. This thing at a petaflop is so powerful that you're going to give it the prompt and describe the movie, and it's just going to start playing. That's how fast it is. I mean, it's mind-blowingly fast and incredibly powerful. This changes the game in a big way. If people thought AI was just going to be a revolution down the road, no, it's here now. It changes everything. Companies are going to have to really wrap their arms around what this means for them. And you and I have talked about how important a really powerful, collaborative, cross-functional culture is, because the human-machine teaming, which is really going to take place with, the people working together more than the individual, where you want to create this breakthrough innovation. That's going to be teams of people working with AI, all of them kind of like jazz musicians jamming, but they'll be working with AI, coming up with incredible stuff. This is mind-blowing. You have a supercomputer in your house.
Yeah. This makes it available for everyone. It's such an exciting release, an exciting time to be in. If you think about just chatbots, for example, and today how the world of chatbots has changed and evolved over the last few years. And now, you still kind of can get a sense that you're talking to a robot and not a person, right? So it's still not as streamlined and seamless as it could be. But with some technology like this, can you imagine? And especially now that you've got so many other AI tools where you can generate voice and generate images, video, audio together with this kind of speed on a computer. Could have chatbots that are interactive, and you would never know you weren't talking to a person. Like,
I know, it's
scary.
Just that powerful. Well, when you look at the power of this, it will be interacting with you like a person in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
You'll be able to say, I'm really thinking about doing X, blah, blah, and it'll come back immediately with a response. Instantaneously.
That lag will go away completely.
No lag.
the chatbots and other uses for this, not just to single out chatbots, but the systems will be in that continuous learning model, and they'll have the space now to save all this data, right? So that was the limitation, is you didn't have enough space. So you could only have so much data on any one device. Well, now you can have, what is it, 128 gig?
128 gig, yeah.
That's impressive. Like
128 gig of RAM, but 4 terabytes of solid state drive. 4 terabytes.
Yeah. Yeah, that 128 gig is going to have it processing at the light speed of light, and then you've got the 4 terabytes worth of space. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible.
That's absolutely incredible. Absolutely.
It is. It's amazing. Now, they are moving so fast because they're using AI to do their development. They got teams of people working on this stuff, using AI to speed what they do. So this is version 1 of their desktop supercomputer. So when does it get to 100 petaflops? I mean, just more computing power than you could ever use on your desktop. I know technology over time has always found a way to fill up all processing power. Everything always gets consumed. It used to be you'd have a hard drive, and then suddenly everybody had to save all their videos and music. And suddenly, oh, that's not a big hard drive anymore. So I don't know. This will be people collecting LLMs.
Yeah.
Now, amazingly, you get, NVIDIA's access to their entire catalog, like he said, their large language models, their kits that they give to developers, everything, software library, these orchestration tools to lay things out, pre-trained models. I think it's amazing amount of power that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think this is the biggest technology announcement in my lifetime, honestly, that you could have a desktop supercomputer in your house. I mean, that's just mind-blowing. I'll be honest with you. Everybody needs to look at this and understand what this means and start thinking about the implications. So next week, Terry and I are going to talk about what types of people and jobs and careers will be using this. What will people be using this for? And it's got a lot of uses in pharmaceutical business, music business, the film business, graphic arts, you name it. This has huge amount of uses. And we'll start to go through it because it does, in fact, change the game in a lot of companies. And we've talked about, how culture and the emotional experience drives productivity. And so you can have a person who's 125% more productive than a satisfied worker if they're inspired. And that's an incredible amount of productivity. But now you team them up with supercomputers. And so culture matters more than ever, quite honestly. It really does. And we're seeing a whole new era just being unleashed in front of us here. And I think very few people really grasp how incredibly impactful this is going to be to just everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And we'll talk next week about the cost of cognition. It's one of the things that obviously is coming down fast. And so this is unbelievable. This is disruptive beyond belief. And it's disruptive technologies that do change the way everything works. So we're in a new world here. This is going to be interesting. So join us next week as we talk about what types of industries and careers are going to be using this. How's it going to impact them? And I hope you're here. We're here every Wednesday at 3:00. This human machine teaming with AI series is going to be, I think, quite huge, Tara. I think we did great series, but this one, wow, people should tune in. This is a lot of very useful information and in small bites that you could grasp.
Yes, this is really impactful. And next week, when we start digging into how it's going to impact different organizations, you don't want to miss it, because this is groundbreaking. This is something that's like once in a lifetime opportunity. You get to see something like this.
Yeah,
and it's
huge.
Age. So this is huge.
Yeah, this is absolutely enormous. So anyway, Terry Mays and I would like to say goodbye, and we'll see you here next Wednesday, 3:00. Same time, same place. Creating Cultures Outperform. You take care.